Crime, Wine, and Chaos contains adult language and graphic content. Listener discretion is advised.
It came with the frame, Chaos Kids. I'm Amber.
I'm Naomi. And this is Crime, Wine, and Chaos. It came with the frame.
You have to really think long and hard before you unpeel a sticker from something.
I mean, you're right. I have a stack of stickers that I found in the midst of the purge. I've talked about the purge that I've been doing on the podcast. Sister.
I know. Now I need to do a purge because I took your purge.
You took definitely more than half. You took more than half.
More than half.
Well, yeah, because it was split into two sections because there was the clothes and shoes section over by the door, and then there was all the houseware stuff over in the living room. And Amber literally took everything in the clothes and shoes section, and then half of what was in the living room.
That's right.
What's great about that, sis, is I was able to, because you did that, because God bless you for doing that, I was able today to take the lockbox and the speaker out of the Jeep, and everything that was left fit in the Jeep. I actually drove by your house today because I went to St. Vincent de Paul, and
I didn't stop by?
Well, no, I wasn't going to do that to you because
I have cream puffs in the fridge.
You guys, she comes over, she's on her way to a dinner afterwards, and she's got cream puffs. She's like, "Can I put these in your fridge?" And I'm like, "Sure." And then the whole time she's at my house last night, she's like, "Cream puff? Anyone want a cream puff?"
You know what's funny? We never opened the cream puffs. So I had the container at home that I left, and then I bought more. And I left an unopened container at Allison's, the cream puffs.
She's just the cream puff fairy. She just brings cream puffs.
God, I just sprinkle cream puffs everywhere I go. God.
Oh, but it felt good, sister. It felt good. That's all out of my life now. Thank you. I appreciate you. I'm so glad that Michael is enjoying going through the bags of treasures.
Oh my God. He's got some hoarding tendencies. Sure.
Yes, we've talked about this. Yes. And you definitely enabled that. And you've got your own little
First of all, I did not enable that. He came that way. He was in the as is section. And that's fine. I embrace him exactly as he comes.
How long is it going to take you to go through those bags, you think?
Oh, I already did.
You went through all of it?
Well, yes. I had a whole system. I had an assembly line.
You guys, Amber sent me a picture of the stuff Michael kept, and a couple of them were things that I made for my steampunk costume 5 years ago. six years ago. Which actually makes me really happy. That actually makes me.
Has a thing for hats, and he will randomly come down. Yeah. Last week he came home from his dad's in a coonskin cap. And I was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I found this." I'm like, "But..." He has a wizard hat that I think he found at a garage sale that he just randomly puts on. And now he saw that steampunk hat and he was like, "Oh, yes." I can't. Anyway.
Oh, what are you drinking, sis?
Thank you for asking. I still have the same bottle of Chardonnay that I was drinking on the last episode, the Ravelston Cellars. So I'm finishing that off, and it's hot AF.
It is so hot today.
It's the first day of summer.
Tomorrow.
According to my at a glance calendar, it's today.
I thought it's tomorrow, the 21st.
Either way,
the 21st. It's one of these days. It's either today or tomorrow.
It's just one of them days. Like Monica
It's very hot. It's very hot, and summer literally just started.
Yep. So that's what I'm drinking. Do you have anything for the good of the order before we dive into catastrophes?
Well, I think we have a new Chaos Kids Club member.
Oh my God. I know. I have her written down. So I have known her since Kenmore Junior High.
No way. You didn't tell me that.
Well, because it would ruin the affect if I told you pre-recording. We have Angela R.
Angela.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I love her. And she regularly sends me messages via Facebook. First off, I've loved reconnecting with her because she was just good people then and she's good people now. But she will randomly just send me messages of "Oh my God, have you seen this?" She's into it. And I I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Clearly, she's good people. She joined the Chaos Kids Club.
She joined the Chaos Kid Club.
All the Chaos Kids Club members are super good people. I mean, so are the rest of you. No, do not take that the wrong way. That's awesome. And I have a crime for you.
Good. I love it.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you about Rachel Barber.
Okay.
This is another story from Australia.
Wild in Australia.
Literally. So Rachel Barber was born September 12th, 1983 to parents Mike and Elizabeth Barber. Rachel also had two younger sisters, Heather and Ashley Rose.
Oh, Ashley Rose. That's pretty.
In late 1992 or early 1993, the Barbers moved to Mont Albert, which is a suburb east of Melbourne. It was soon after this move that the Barber family met the Robertson family. Rachel became close with Chrissy Robertson. Ashley Rose became friends with Kathy Robertson. The oldest of the Robertson girls, Carolyn, was 4 years older than Rachel, and in 1996 and 1997 regularly babysat the three Barber girls.
Okay.
In December of 1997, the Barber family moved again to Bayswater North, another suburb even further east of Melbourne. It would be in early 1998, after that move, that Rachel, 14 at the time, would start taking dance classes at the Dance Factory in Richmond. In September of 1998, so a little less than a year later, around the time she turned 15, Rachel would leave regular school to attend Dance Factory full-time.
I feel like I'm having this weird, something is ringing a bell for me, but keep going.
I didn't go look to see if the story's been done before.
It's not that it's been done. It's that you and I are both uber consumers of all things. So
I mean, sure. I had never heard this, but there's reasons why you might have. So
Okay.
Rachel was described as quite talented, a promising young dancer. She was also said to be shy and somewhat reserved with people she did not know. But everyone who knew her thought she would be a star one day.
And this is ballet, right? Or
no, she is not doing ballet at this time.
Oh, okay.
Rachel herself had aspirations of becoming a dancer and a model. She was tall and elfin featured, with thick brown hair and emerald green eyes.
What the hell does that mean?
Elfin featured?
Like an elf?
Yes. Like adorable elf-like face.
Well, that is fucking adorable. I didn't know that there was an actual term for that.
Athletic, popular, Rachel was the whole package. Rachel had quite a few friends at her dance school, as well as a boyfriend there, Manny Corella. One of her friends, Kylie, lived closer to the school than Rachel did, so Rachel's dad would drop her off at the bus stop that would take her to Kylie's place, like a city bus. And they would have breakfast together and then head to school. On Monday, March 1st, 1999, Mike drove Rachel to the bus stop per usual and dropped her off around 9:30 a.m. She was supposed to meet him back there in the evening around 6:15 p.m., like most days.
That's a long day.
Yes. She did not tell her dad that she would be late or staying out that night. When Rachel left the house that morning, she was wearing black dance pants, a black bra, and a light-colored singlet top. She carried a black Block brand dance bag and a long-sleeved gray-blue mock turtleneck. She was wearing her black Block brand dance shoes, a gold necklace with a diamond-like stone and matching earrings, and a blue topaz ring. She had about $13 in her wallet. And while Rachel did have some trouble with asthma, she was not carrying her inhaler and was not on any medications or feeling ill that day.
Okay.
And so when Rachel did not show up at the bus stop that evening when Mike came to pick her up, he and Elizabeth reported Rachel missing at the Box Hill police station. Rachel's family and the local PD started looking for Rachel and tracking down where she'd been that day. Once she arrived at Kylie's place, Rachel met up with Manny and his brother Dominic. The four left to go to class around 10:15 a.m. In the afternoon, Rachel told a friend at school that she was going to make a lot of money that evening and that it was with someone that he did not know, and told him that she would explain to him the next day what it was all about.
Oh, no.
That same day, she had pointed out to Manny a pair of shoes that cost $100 and told him that she would buy them the next day on Tuesday. She said she had a job that night and was going to make a chunk of cash. And she said she was meeting up with an old friend, a female friend. Around 4 p.m., Rachel apparently asked Dominic for a ride to Bridge Road. Classes got out around 5:35 p.m. and Rachel, Kylie, Manny, and Dominic, and I think a few other students, friends, started walking along Church Street towards Bridge Road. And Dominic asked Rachel if she still needed a ride, and she said she'd get there on her own. Another one of Rachel's classmates asked her where she was going, and Rachel told her she was going to walk up to Bridge Road and that her dad was going to pick her up at the bus stop. This friend offered to walk with her, but Rachel declined.
Fuck. And this is 1999, right?
Yes.
So this isn't necessarily like an internet, I mean, it could be, but meetup or,
Could be. Yeah, it's 1999.
barely.
It could be. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this doesn't sound good.
All her friends last saw her walking towards Bridge Road at 5:45 p.m. Another witness said they saw Rachel get on a bus at the intersection of High and Chapel Streets in the company of an older girl. They both got off together at the corner of Williams Road and High Street. The witness worked with police to put together a computer face image of the older girl she had seen with Rachel.
Wow. Also, kudos to the Australian PD who's searching for a missing person day of, and now they're doing a computer sketch. Like, this is how it's supposed to happen, right?
Right.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
That's right. The search continued for Rachel over the next week and a half. On the third or fourth, so like 2 or 3 days after Rachel went missing, her wallet was found in her locker at school with a total of $1.20 in change and a used bus ticket from the morning of the 1st.
Weird. Okay.
Elizabeth, Rachel's mom, told police that Rachel had been on the phone Sunday evening, February 28th, the night before she went missing. A search of the phone records revealed that Rachel had had 2 separate phone calls that night, one lasting 15 minutes, the other almost half an hour, and the number belonged to Caroline Barber.
The old babysitter. Okay.
And the police sketch of the older girl seen on the bus with Rachel looked a lot like Caroline.
Mm-hmm.
The day after Rachel went missing, Caroline had gone to work but had been so ill that a coworker had driven her home, and then she called out sick for several days. It was the following week after Rachel's disappearance that the police put together the possibility that Caroline might know something about what happened to Rachel. So first they went to her place of work on Wednesday the 10th looking for her, but she had again called out sick. On Friday the 12th at about 9:20 a.m., police arrived at Caroline's apartment, but no one answered the door. Around 5:30 p.m. that evening, police again went to her apartment with keys this time that they had obtained from the property management company. But the keys did not work, so they called the apartment multiple times. Again, there was no answer. It was just after 6 p.m. that the fire department was called in to gain entry, which they did through an open bedroom window.
Shit. So Carolyn's like what, in her early 20s at this point?
She's 19.
She's living in an apartment by herself?
Yeah.
Okay.
When they entered Carolyn's apartment, they found her unconscious on the floor at the foot of her bed.
Oh.
There were a number of empty packets of Tegretol, which is a drug commonly used to treat epilepsy, and it appeared that Carolyn had experienced a seizure. Police conducted a search of the apartment looking for any signs of Rachel. They did find a couple of bags containing clothing which clearly did not belong to Caroline, but were of the right size to be worn by Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
Carolyn was taken by ambulance to hospital, accompanied by a police officer around 7 p.m. It was almost 10 p.m. when that officer questioned her about Rachel, and during this conversation, Carolyn admitted to killing Rachel.
Jesus.
A further search of Carolyn's apartment ensued, where police found her journal as well as 2 applications, one for a bank loan for $10,000 and one for a birth certificate in Rachel's name.
What the hell?
But it was her journal that was the most damning. Amongst the entries were things like her plan to lure Rachel to her apartment. Quote, on the way to dance school, say that she can't tell anyone that she's meeting me as I'm not allowed to give the study results to anyone. Ethics, highly confidential, not even your boyfriend/parent. She wrote about what to do once Rachel was there. Quote, drug Rachel, toxic over mouth, put body into army bags and disfigure and dump somewhere way out.
What the hell?
And then she wrote how she would cover it up and escape. Quote, check farm, including bag, Tuesday arrange bank loan, moving van, night to disguise hair, thoroughly clean house, and steam clean carpet.
What in the hell is going on?
Police brought her in for an interview the next day, March 13th, and Carolyn made a longer confession. She also told them where they would find Rachel. Rachel's body was recovered from a rural property in Kilmore, buried in a shallow grave on Carolyn's dad's property. A phone cord still around her neck.
Oh.
It wouldn't be until further investigation and the work of a state psychologist who spent time treating Caroline while she was in custody awaiting trial that the whole picture and the full details would come to light about what she did to Rachel and why. Police discovered that over the summer holidays of 1998 into 1999, because remember in Australia, their summer is our winter, Ashley Rose had received a phone call from Caroline where she told Ashley Rose that she needed the birth dates of the Barber girls for a project that she was working on.
And Ashley Rose is Rachel's younger sister?
Right, one of Rachel's younger sisters, yeah.
Okay.
This was just after fall of 1998 when, as Elizabeth would later recall, Rachel had told her mom that Caroline knew someone who might be able to get Rachel some modeling work. On the evening of February 28th, in those phone calls between Rachel and Caroline told Rachel that she could make $100 if she came over to Caroline's apartment the following evening to take part in a psychological study. In order to have accurate results of the study, Rachel couldn't tell anyone about it. Not her boyfriend, not her parents, no one.
God, and this is someone that she trusts because she used to babysit her and what the fuck?
Yeah, and she's friends with her younger sister, and her younger sister is friends with another younger sister. Like, it's like...
God.
So when the two met up after Rachel got out of school, they went to a pizza joint and picked up a couple of pizzas that Carolyn likely drugged per her plan found in her journal. And Carolyn had bought some alcohol for the evening, but Rachel wasn't interested in drinking. Carolyn then asked Rachel to do a meditation exercise where she told Rachel to think of happy and pleasant things. And while Rachel's eyes were closed in meditation, Carolyn strangled her with a piece of telephone cord.
My God.
According to one of the doctors, Carolyn said that in the middle of strangling Rachel, quote, just for a moment, the veil lifted and I didn't want to do it, but something said that I was in so much trouble now I had to. And it was as though the veil had dropped again.
The veil? She is unwell.
She is unwell.
She's very unwell. Yeah.
Carolyn kept Rachel's body in her apartment for 2 days, hidden in her bedroom closet, the telephone cord still around her neck. When Carolyn's dad came by to check on her when she'd called out of work sick, she discouraged him from entering her bedroom when he tried to go in there.
Ugh.
It would be Wednesday, the 3rd of March, when Carolyn would wrap Rachel's body in rugs or blankets. I've seen it both ways. Put her in a large army bag that she had bought and called a taxi to haul Rachel's corpse out to her dad's property to bury it in that shallow grave. She told the cab driver it was a statue she was moving.
Oh my God. That poor cab driver finding out after the fact.
Right?
God, that's spooky.
And the next day, Thursday the 4th, Carolyn went back to work.
As if nothing happened.
But why? Why would Carolyn want to murder Rachel?
Is she obsessed with her?
Her journal painted a picture. She wrote of Rachel almost obsessively. She described Rachel as highly gifted and intelligent. She wrote, quote, Rachel was always wild, let run barefoot in the country, began dating very young, very talented at classical ballet, rebelled and gave up a few times, tried modeling, dropped out of school early year 9, began new dance school, strikingly attractive, dancer's body, very clear pale skin, hypnotic green eyes, dyed hair, lots of different colors. Meanwhile, Caroline would describe herself as a, quote, pizza face with, quote, brown, oily hair and no coordination. That Rachel was everything that Caroline wasn't. Caroline was jealous of Rachel and fixated on her at the same time. And while applying for a birth certificate for Rachel would imply she was trying to steal Rachel's identity, her journal was filled with references to Jem Southall, a name that Caroline intended to adopt after murdering Rachel and running away. She had even detailed a short personal history of Jem Southall, which included fictitious details about Jem's parents. Jem was 16 years old, a total rev head. I had to look that up. A rev head is an Australian word for somebody who's like super into like auto racing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's weird. And it was really no wonder that Caroline wanted to be someone else. Through various sessions with a handful of mental health professionals and poring through her journal, it's clear Carolyn's life and self-image was one of depression, self-hate, anger and abhorrence of her appearance, and a sense of unfairness that permeated her life. In her own words, quote, "I could never do anything right, and even today I still can't."
I weirdly feel very sympathetic in some ways and then not so much in others. This is tough.
Right. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Carolyn saw herself as the bad child, the troublemaker, the person who failed everyone's expectations. Quote, "They expected me to be bad, and so I was. I stole things from everyone and don't really know why I did it."
Mm-hmm.
Court documents go further into the psychology and backstory of Caroline and how she became a murderer, basically, but suffice it to say that she had a rough childhood with an angry dad, emotional and possibly physical abuse, issues with being overweight, and a constant struggle to make and maintain friendships, coupled with regularly being bullied and teased. According to one of her assessments, quote, "Others seem to have good lives. Caroline has shit. She once painted and hung a portrait of herself, which was completely black."
Oh my God.
But she was also not really haunted by her actions in killing Rachel. One of her doctors wrote, quote, "Caroline in some ways is not a young woman facing a trial for an awful murder. At a fantasy level, she is still a young child in trouble where revelation of motive brings the prospect of even more fearful punishment." Basically, it's all about Caroline and what's going to happen to her.
Right.
Ultimately, Caroline was diagnosed with a deeply entrenched personality disorder, and she did end up pleading guilty to the murder of Rachel Barber. It was October of 2000, a year and a half later, when she would be sentenced to 20 years in prison with a mandatory 14 years, 6 months prior to being eligible for parole. At the sentencing hearing, the judge stated that Rachel, quote, "was vulnerable to such an approach as you were known to her as a family friend and one-time babysitter whose motives she would never have suspected."
Yeah.
Quote, "Indeed, what normal young person would have contemplated the terrible existence of such a chilling design or that she was the subject of such hatred? I have no doubt that you appreciated that the combination of a slightly adventurous but harmless secrecy and the prospect of obtaining what she referred to as a heap of money that would enable her to purchase some shoes that took her fancy would have been very attractive to a person of her age and apparent temperament."
Mm-hmm.
He further added, "For my part, I find the deliberation and malevolence with which you acted extremely disturbing."
I do too.
Part of Elizabeth's, Rachel's mom's victim impact statement read, quote, "It is tragic in Caroline's naivete. She had never seen the side of Rachel that was not happy. The Rachel who struggled academically at school. Socially, she was loved. The Rachel who gave up dance at 13 due to ill health and an over-disciplinary dance teacher. The Rachel who at 14 told her father, 'I know why I am so miserable. It is because I am not dancing.' A factor we had known for that year. The girl who had been afraid to return to dance because she feared the severity of what she wrongly assumed an excellent teacher to be. And finally, her decision to return to dance, but to musicals and contemporary dance as she was now afraid of her love, ballet."
Oh.
The 20-page ruling by the judge at sentencing is something to read.
Really?
But I will quote only a couple of sections that followed that excerpt that I just read from Elizabeth's victim impact statement. He said, "The simple reality is that contrary to your distorted perception, there are no perfect lives or perfect people for that matter. But each of us, whatever our situation or status, is unique and irreplaceable. And in our society, the life of each is inviolate and none can be lawfully taken. That is both a profoundly important moral principle and a proposition of law based in part on sheer necessity if we are to live together in a decent and civilized community. The incontrovertible and irrevocable fact is that you have killed and in so doing have created more than one victim. In this context, I think that it is desirable to refer to the victim impact statements that have been tendered. Once again, I have read the attempts of family members and friends to convey in a few sentences and in mere words some sense of the intensity of the feelings of desolation and pain experienced when a young life is criminally and senselessly taken. As I remarked not that long ago in another matter, for most in the community, in time, what you have done will become a distant, bizarre occurrence. But for some, and I refer to the family and friends of your victim, the anguish will remain, sometimes intensifying as milestone events take place in their lives or the lives of others around them, but ever present and constantly evoked by everyday life occurrences.
Wow. That judge is quite the writer.
20 pages, Amber.
Good.
It's 20 pages.
Mm-hmm.
In January of 2015, Carolyn Robertson was released on parole after serving 15 years of her 20-year sentence. She allegedly never expressed any remorse for her crime, and while inside, drastically changed her physical appearance. She's leaner, her hair is straight, and she has a bit of a look of Rachel about her.
Oh, no. I just got the chills.
Elizabeth spoke to the press at the time of Carolyn's release. While she thought Caroline should have been in prison a couple years longer, she and Mike just want her to be a better human in society and discouraged people from harassing her.
Mm-hmm.
Elizabeth was shocked by Carolyn's new look and said, quote, "I kept thinking she looks like someone I know. I thought, bloody hell, it has the feel about Rachel. At first glance, it's kind of weird. Everything is different, but she still has that look. She doesn't look anything like Caroline. I wouldn't have recognized her in the least. She's totally different. There is a Rachel likeness there. The eyes."
I don't like it. That is spooky.
It's really spooky. Carolyn was in her mid-30s when she was released and was reportedly in a long-term relationship with an armed robber she met in prison named Annette Chubbs Taylor.
Perfect. Okay.
Chubbs had been released before Caroline, and the two planned to live together when Caroline got out. A former inmate who knew Caroline said she had not spoken of her crime and believed she was rehabilitated. And poor Manny suffered anxiety attacks at the thought of Caroline being released.
No.
In 2009, the events of Rachel's life and tragic murder were made into a film called In Her Skin, starring Guy Pearce, Miranda Otto, and Sam Neill. And that is the story of the murder of Rachel Barber.
Good God. Good God. I hate that.
I know.
Maybe I saw that movie. It was all very familiar.
Maybe. It was like, you know, there was some speculation, or there was a bit of the, like, she was jealous and obsessed and she wanted to be Rachel. And when they saw the birth certificate application, they were like, was she trying to steal her identity? But then there was the whole Jem Southall thing or whatever, that she was like, clearly that was who she was going to be. So it's like, really, it was just about, like, I still don't fully, like, the motive is still unclear, really, at the end of the day. Like, she had to kill Rachel because she was so jealous of her, she couldn't stand Rachel to exist anymore.
That's what I was going to say, which is like, and hadn't they moved to a different town? Like,
yeah, like when I looked on the map, they had moved farther east, but it was like, you know, it'd be like the difference between living in, like, it would be like if I moved to Burien or something, you know?
Right, but it's not like Rachel is in her face every day reminding her of her.
She's not babysitting anymore, I don't think. Yeah.
So that, like, still thinking about this person that you don't see anymore that is a weird obsessive thing. Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
There's like some real deep psychological issues going on there, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like that's like a whole other level of obsession.
Oh, well, I don't know that she's rehabilitated, but, you know, I wish her well-ish.
I guess.
Fuck, I don't even know.
I mean, as long as she's not hurting people.
Yeah, I hate it. You know,
she's on parole. She has stipulations and stuff. Like, hopefully people are keeping an eye on her.
Mm-hmm.
You got some chaos for me, sis?
I do have some chaos. Are you ready for chaos? Are you all ready for this? Okay.
Always. Bring it.
Great. I am going to tell you about the college admissions scandal.
Oh, this is good stuff. I watched that Netflix doc. Yeah.
You did? Okay, great. Fill in any gaps that I may have.
I mean, it was a long time ago, so.
Okay, great. So I'm going to tell you about Rick Singer. Okay. Rick grew up in a low middle class family in the Chicago suburbs in the 60s, and he was put under intense pressure from his dad to be successful. He was a chubby kid who was teased, so he became obsessed with fitness. And in high school, he was known for being a star athlete in football, baseball, and basketball.
Oh, okay.
I haven't looked at pictures of this guy yet, but he has been compared to, like, Trent Reznor with, like, a pointy nose and, like, really tall and lanky and...
Interesting.
Maybe I should look it
Okay.
up. Mm-hmm. He goes to several different colleges after high school and finally completes his degree at the age of 26.
Okay.
He then jumps from job to job as a high school coach.
This is okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
He was known as being too aggressive as a coach, and he was even fired from one of his coaching jobs for being nasty to one of the referees.
Okay.
Fucking people that
where did he get it from, you know?
Sure. Apple doesn't fall far.
Apple in the tree. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
So working at these high schools gives him a really close look at the college application process for students and how the star athletes have a very easy time, but for all of the other students, it's a challenge, which that's a whole other issue, which is just fucking stupid.
Like,
but
that's a can of worms that we
Mhm.
don't even, we're just, boop, we're just blocking off that avenue because I could.
Once you pop, you can't stop. Yeah.
Don't get me started.
Yeah. So in the early 90s, Rick starts his own consulting company called Future Stars to help parents with college admissions. And go ahead.
I'm just saying, like, the system in place, literally, because capitalism ruins everything. The system in place literally has created another business opportunity for somebody tied to the college process.
Yeah.
Like, okay, sorry, keep going.
No, it's fine. And it's largely because like the high school, counselors who make $60,000 a year do not have the bandwidth to actually help. But you know what?
The fact that you need this, the fact that this is a needed thing.
Thank you. Okay, I'm popping the top.
You can't solve shit.
Listen, this is what fucking pisses me off. In a very short window of time, I would say like the last 2 decades, we have gone from a high school diploma is fine, you will find a job and support yourself, to no, you need to go to college, to it must be a bachelor's, to nope, if it's not a master's, forget about it, to it has to be the right fucking college or forget about it. The bar just keeps moving and it's so fucking ridiculous.
I wonder, and for me, it's like how much of that depends on like what kind of job you want, and like how much of that is even real. Like, because it's not real. Because like, what is wrong with community college? Fucking nothing. Fucking nothing. All these colleges that are the right colleges. They're all big fucking business. They're all big fucking business. That's all they are. They're not there to shape minds and do all the things they like, the facade they put up that they're there to do. They're literally just there to rake in fucking dough. That's it.
Michael believes that like fast forward a few decades and everything will dissolve except for the trades.
I mean, there's
like everything will be useless except for a trade.
I mean, yeah, I kind of tend to agree with him. Like, what can you build with your hands?
Yeah.
You know, like what exactly do you do here?
Exactly. I'm going to need you to come in on Saturday. Yeah.
Anyway, so he starts a business helping parents and high school kids navigate and get through the college application process. Is that
correct?
Okay.
Yeah. At this time, he's in Sacramento, and he specifically targets wealthy parents, and he pitches his services at parent night at the high school, as well as at like elite country clubs that the parents hang out at on the weekends. Not only that, but high school guidance counselors, like I said, they're overworked, underpaid, they don't have enough time. And so there's a need, unfortunately, for this kind of service.
I mean, quote
unquote,
yes,
a need.
Yes.
Over the next several years, he opens up multiple college prep businesses, and he is working with parents all over the country. He hires several tutors to have on staff. One former employee went on to say that they found out that Rick was charging parents $50 per hour for the tutor services, but the tutor would be given $20 and Rick would keep the $30.
Holy shit, what an asshole.
He is raking in the cash. So at this time, his business is all still legit and legal, and he's doing pretty well. But as usual, greed takes over, and he wants more business and more money. So in 2011, he starts just dabbling in fraud, just a little fraudster.
What exactly does that mean?
Well, we'll get there. Oh my God. I just dipping my toe in some fraud.
I was just going to say, just dipping my toe. Just
dip.
Just a little fraud.
Just a light fraud. Let's not get into the weeds about it.
Sprinkle.
Sprinkling fraud around. Oh my God. This is the same year where weirdly his wife files for divorce. Can't imagine why.
There's no coincidences, you guys. I'm sure these two things are related.
She was like, yeah, I see where this is going and I don't want any part of this. Bye. Uh-huh. And it's also the year that Rick moves to Newport Beach in California and purchases a bougie-ass Mediterranean-style home.
Newport Beach.
Yeah. So he's serving the wealthy of all these, these kids' parents. And all these parents want their kids to go to elite schools.
Of course.
Uh-huh. One of the methods that Rick uses to get these kids in, specifically if they don't have the grades, is to reach out to the high school and find acceptable online classes that can be taken for extra credit. Then he hires someone to take the classes for them and uses those scores to boost the student's GPA.
Just dipping toes.
Just dipping toes.
This is like right next to because it does. I know what comes next. I know what comes next. The next dip.
The next dippity dip.
The next dippity dip. It has something to do with SATs, right?
Sure. But we've got a pre-dip. We'll get there.
I mean, you don't even have to see. You don't have to see the documentary to know where this is going. Once he starts doing that,
no, because then he will go on to get doctors to diagnose students with learning disabilities so that the students can have a private proctor and extra exam time while taking their SATs. He gets kids on 504 plans that don't need one.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. He also
Does that come with actual medications?
Fuck, probably.
Oh my God.
And
can you imagine?
Pulling that on the side as a side hustle.
Dip. Just dipping toes. God.
Sprinkling Adderall around.
Anybody need some Adderall? Yeah.
God, this guy. He's such an entrepreneur. This guy sucks.
Uh-huh.
So he also has employees on staff who are the proctors, who are supervising the kids taking the SATs. And some of them will just go ahead and take the test for them or change their scores. The sad thing is the students don't realize that this is happening and they think that they're crushing it.
No.
Yes. Yeah. So notably, Felicity Huffman paid $15,000 for these services, but parents have paid upwards of $75,000.
Holy shit.
Mm-hmm. It's
rich people and their fucking money that they can just.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. We'll get to it. I'll circle back to here's the thing because I'm so worked up. God.
You already know what's coming.
You know this happens to me all the time. I get shocked at my own thing.
I know. I love it so much. There's just so many layers to be angry about here. So many things. This touches so many things.
I know. As I was typing this up, I was like, I'm so mad. I can't wait to tell her how mad I am. Oh my God. Okay. He even makes up fake awards that the students have received that he can put on their application. And he even lies about ethnicity so that a student can benefit from affirmative action.
Oh my God. Oh my fucking God.
Mm-hmm.
That is so fucking gross.
That is so fucking gross. It's so gross. He's even able to get kids recruited as athletes, even if they aren't athletes. He picks unique sports. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I mean, these are all like, he's targeting these rich motherfuckers. These are kids who already have all the fucking advantages.
Mm-hmm.
These are not the kids that need help.
No. Because he doesn't give a shit about getting kids into college. He is making hand over fist here.
Oh my God, I'm so fucking mad.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Keep going.
Okay, so he picks kids that aren't athletes and lies and says that they are athletes. And he picks unique sports like water polo and makes fake profiles for the students and sends it off to the athletic departments at these elite colleges. Uh-huh. Then it gets to a point where a lot of these people at the colleges, like in the admissions office, are in on it. And they're getting like kickbacks
Cuts
from him. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Holy shit.
So, okay. So my thing is like the fake test scores and the fake athleticism is like, what's your long-term plan? Because they're going to get to this college and be put on a team where they're unable to play and put in courses that they don't understand. What, like, is it just so you can say that your kid got to Harvard, but then they actually aren't capable of doing that? Like, what the fuck?
Or maybe they feel like their kid will be fine because their kids are perfect fucking, specimens. They just need to get in there and then they'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how many of these kids just failed.
Literally, I know.
Just failed.
Yeah. Like you didn't see beyond just getting accepted. That's it. Yeah. So it was one of these underpaid high school counselors, Julie Taylor Vass, who ultimately discovered Rick's illegal business.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. She's a counselor at Buckley High School, which is a private school in Hollywood Hills. She's on the phone with the admissions office for Tulane University, and the admission person tells Julie that she is impressed with a Buckley senior, we'll call Tiffany, not her real name.
Uh-huh.
Tulane University tells Julie that a young Black woman with amazing test scores and the first person in her family to attend college is impressive.
Okay. She's not Black.
Yeah. Julie's like, Tiffany is white and her dad is a lawyer.
He didn't just he literally, I mean, it's one thing to say I'm half something, but to be like, this white girl is Black?
Exactly.
Don't they have to go do an in-person interview at some point?
Yeah. What's your long-term plan here?
He doesn't have one. He's just he just wants to get their money.
Right.
And also it sounds like the deeper he's getting into this bullshit, the more money he's making and basically scamming out of these families, he's just getting sloppy.
Mm-hmm.
That's sloppy.
For sure. These are things that are easily
debunked.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this high school counselor first assumes that there must have just been some mix-up with Tiffany's paperwork at Tulane. But when she starts looking through the other admissions packets submitted on behalf of Tiffany, they all say that she is Black and a first-generation college student.
Oh, my God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And specifically at Georgetown University, they have on Tiffany's paperwork that she is one of California's top tennis players. And she's not a competitive tennis player at all.
Right. She's never held a racket in her hand except for that one time in gym class when she had to.
Uh-huh. I don't like sports where balls are flying at my face.
Same, sister. Is that Clueless?
Yes. Yeah. There goes your social life. So when the high school calls Tiffany's dad, he says he has no idea how that happened and that they did hire Rick Singer to help with college admissions. And it was later learned that nobody in Tiffany's family was aware of the cheating that Rick was doing. Some of these parents truly did just pay somebody or pay Rick to handle it, and they should have done their due diligence. They had no idea that he was doing this. So Georgetown University opens an investigation, but they can't find enough evidence really to do anything about it. And there's no evidence leading back to Rick. So nothing comes of it. But high school counselor Julie is not letting up because this all sounds super fucking sus to her, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In the spring of 2018, Julie gets a call from USC and they are interested in another Buckley student we'll call Brad.
Okay.
USC is admitting Brad on his water polo team, but Julie knows that Brad doesn't play water polo. And Buckley doesn't even have a water polo team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even own a gun. God.
What does he mean? He's got an Olympic gold medal. It says right here on his application.
Oh my God. I can't.
He was on the U.S. men's water polo team.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Oh my God.
Oh, this just gets better and better. So it's later learned that Brad's dad paid Rick $250,000 to secure a spot for him at USC.
What?
This time the dad is in on it because dad ordered water polo gear from Amazon and had Brad pose in a picture and later photoshopped it into a team that was attached to his application package.
Oh my God. $250,000? You know how many kids can go to like college on $250,000?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this isn't even tuition.
Mm-hmm.
This is insane.
I hope I can find that picture, and I hope it's a bad Photoshop job where he's just like teasing out like his face on somebody else's body. I would love that so much. I hope it looks like that. I know.
I'm in Delaware.
Yes. Oh my God. Whew. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
So Julie notifies the USC admissions office, but the admissions department person is also getting kickback from Rick's. So they refuse to take action. They're like, oh no, everything's good here.
At
But
USC?
Julie, yep, getting the kickbacks. And Julie still refuses to let up on this, right?
Good on Julie. Fucking get it.
Get it, girl. Yeah, fuck. In March of 2018, Maury Tobin, a finance guy in his 50s who lives in a mansion in LA, is at home when federal agents bang on his door. They tell him that he is under arrest for fraud. So, this guy had paid $500,000 to get his youngest daughter into Yale on a soccer recruitment.
$500,000? That's twice what the other guy with the water polo kid.
Inflation,
Holy
Naomi.
shit.
This is the following year.
$500,000. I hate everyone in this fucking story. There is not a good person in this story.
Julie's a good person.
Except for Julie. I'm sorry. No, Julie. Julie is a good person. The one good person. She's like the one good cop in all of California. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This one gets sad. So this Maury guy gets extradited to Boston to be interviewed by investigators, and he decides to spill the tea to save himself. Mm-hmm. And he tells the agents that there's a soccer coach at Yale who is accepting bribes, taking kickbacks to get kids into Yale. So this Maury guy is arrested, and the feds use him as an informant. He is sent to a hotel room in Boston with a wad of cash, and he schedules a meetup with this Yale soccer coach. And of course, the room has been bugged by the FBI. And okay, his poor daughter has already posted all over her social media that she was accepted to Yale on a soccer recruitment.
His poor daughter. I'm
okay.
sorry.
Listen, she's a child. She's a child.
Yes, and she's daddy's little girl, and she was raised in massive fucking privilege. If he can afford to spend $500,000 just to get her to fucking Yale, then she's lived a good fucking life.
Of course she has, but she believes that she earned a spot at Yale.
Does she? Mm-hmm. In her heart, she's got to know.
Well, we'll get there. So,
okay.
So that happens. So meanwhile, back at the hotel room, back to the hotel. When you know, you know. The soccer coach takes the money and the FBI arrests him. And then the coach spills the tea to save his ass, and he tells the FBI that all of this is trickling down from Rick Singer.
Oh, yes. Here we go. They found the guy.
So now let's talk about Massimo Giannulli.
What?
Massimo Giannulli. The
Okay.
Massimo designer
Okay.
of Massimo Clothes.
Okay.
He is the
Yep.
husband of Full House Lori Loughlin.
Uh-huh.
They have a senior, Olivia, who they are trying to get into USC. And when USC calls her high school to go over her application, the high school admission counselor lets USC know that Olivia is not a competitive rower, as her application states. Okay. I need to see these pictures too, because apparently she was also photoshopped into a row team, and it looks like everything about how her rowing stance is happening is fucking wrong.
Oh, no.
I need to see it. So, okay, so they call, and the high school counselor is like, no, she's not a competitive rower. And Massimo is pissed, and he goes down to the high school to ask the counselor why he is botching his daughter's opportunity to get into USC. Massimo and Lori had paid nearly $500,000 to get Olivia into USC, and they also
USC. That's it. USC. It's a state school. Like he's storming into the admission counselor's office to berate this public servant for not lying for him. Okay. What a fucking douchebag. Fucking rich people. I'm telling you.
I knew that this one would really chap your ass, so that's good. So he screams at the guidance counselor. He refuses to leave until the counselor agrees to call back USC and tell them that he has made a mistake and that Olivia is in fact on a rowing team. It's just a private rowing team, not here with this school. So while all of this is going... Well, he scared the shit out of this guidance counselor, right? So while all of this is going on with Massimo and Lori, the FBI is currently monitoring Rick's calls, like his phone has been tapped. And they start to learn the number of people that are involved in this fuckery, right?
It's a web.
Oh, yeah, it is. There's red yarn going in all kinds of directions in this office. One of the people that is unveiled in this operation is a fucking mommy vlogger.
Oh, again with the mommy vloggers.
A fucking famous rich mommy vlogger.
It's always the mommy vloggers. I'm telling you guys, cancel all the mommy vloggers. We have to move on from mommy vlogging. We have to.
Yeah, nobody cares, Susan. Nobody cares.
Just walk away from the mommy vlogs.
Back slowly away. Don't make eye contact. And
just go buy it in the store. Don't make it from scratch.
Yeah, fuck right off. So this woman, a lot of her videos, it's all about honesty and not coddling your kids.
Fuck
and they learn
right off. Oh my God.
That this bee paid Rick $50,000 for a fake learning disability for her son. And he is scheduled to take the SATs via Proctor, who is on Rick's payroll. And on one of the calls that is tapped that the FBI listens to, it's the mommy vlogger on the phone with Rick. And she says that her son has had to have his tonsils removed and he's not able to take the test. And can the proctor just take it for him? But she also wants a fake test to be made available to her son so that he can take it at home because she doesn't want her son to know that he isn't actually being tested.
I hate everyone in this story except for Julie.
So Rick then calls the proctor, lets him know what the plan is, and then calls the mommy vlogger back to let her know that the plan is all set. So the FBI allows this plan to go through so that they can have this as more evidence, like a solid, like the proctor takes the test, the money is exchanged, all the things, right?
Yep.
In September of 2018, Rick is in Boston talking with the Yale soccer coach, and he doesn't know that Yale soccer coach is now an informant, obviously. They meet in a hotel room where the FBI has planted hidden cameras and mics. And they are talking about their next scam when there is a knock on the hotel door. Uh-huh. At the door is an FBI agent who immediately places Rick in handcuffs. And like the others, he says he will out all of the parents and all of the college officials who are in on the scam in exchange for leniency. Everybody just keeps pointing.
There is no honor among thieves.
Mm-mm. So they initially allow him to do this, to also be an informant. But Rick very quickly gets a burner phone and he starts warning parents about what's coming. This guy sucks. So the FBI figure this out pretty quickly. He is charged with an additional obstruction of justice charge. Yeah. And then he agrees to be a better informant. And don't fire me yet. I can do better.
Let me get somebody to do this for me.
Oh my God. This guy's so dumb. So he starts making calls on a recorded line of people that he is currently working with. One of them is William H. Macy. But this doesn't work because they're just being very like, oakley dokley. Like, apparently that's what he said. Like, sounds good. Yep. Like they're not.
Oh, they're already like hip to what's
I
happening?
don't know if they're hip or just cognizant of not speaking of those kinds of details over the phone. Ever, right? So that doesn't work. So then he starts calling former clients to let them know that he is being audited by the IRS and he wants to make sure that they have their story straight. And this is the method that works.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. So 6 months after his first arrest, dozens of people are arrested as conspirators. Two of them were Lori Laughlin and fucking Massimo and Felicity Huffman.
Fucking Massimo.
Maury's daughter learns that her dad is in on this and that she didn't make the Yale soccer team. She learned about this on the news at the same time as everyone else, and she is devastated and mortified at school while her classmates laugh at her. She applies to Yale honestly, and she does not get in.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. In total, the parents paid Rick more than $25 million. All of the college employees who were in on the scandal were fired, and Rick was sentenced to 3.5 years in prison.
White collar crime.
White collar crime. Yep. And that's the college admissions scandal.
Man, what?
Well, I don't even understand. Like,
there's just not.
There's not.
Okay. Well, we did it.
Yeah, we fucking did.
It's been a week, man.
It really has.
Right?
God damn it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't do that to your kids.
No.
That's not helping anyone.
No, don't do that to your kids.
Oh, you know what? Go learn how to build a house.
For real. Wire the electricity. Pipe the plumbing. Yeah.
Learn how to be, you know what? Learn about plants. Learn how to landscape and take care. Learn how to grow food. Learn how to sew. Mm-hmm. Something useful. Jesus.
I say that, not knowing how to do any of those things, but I am going to go make Pronto Pups right now.
It's Pronto Pup night. You need to let me know the next Pronto Pup night because I'm crashing.
Oh, fuck yeah. I'm making a bunch too. And I'm going to throw them in the freezer. So it's like,
okay.
So, fucking come over and have a Pronto Pup. Hey, next time you happen to be going to St. Vinny's for whatever reason, just swing by and get a Pronto Pup.
St. Vinny's.
I would love it if you were driving with one hand and a Pronto Pup in the other, just bombing on down to the thrift shop. My God, nothing says classy. Like on your way to the thrift shop with a Pronto Pup in your hand.
Like a little disposable cup of mustard in my console, just like
dip. Yeah, fuck yeah.
Sprinkle.
Just sprinkling Pronto Pups around. Oh
my God. I love you so much.
Love you so much, you guys, sister.
Find us on all the things while you still can. We keep talking about it. We really are going to shut most of it down at some point.
Fuck yeah. I can't even with
we
that.
We have to have a business meeting and regroup. But you know what? You know what? Be like Amber's friend from middle school and join the Chaos Kids Club. It's $5 a month. You get a bonus episode every month. And every once in a while, we have a virtual wine night. We hang out. We did one, what was it, last week? It was recent. And it was so fun. Such a good time. Everyone in the Chaos Kids Club is so sweet and so lovely. And go, write a review, rate us on where you listen, and write us a review if you're on an Apple product. Let people know how to find us.
Yeah.
And I think that's
crimewineandchaos at gmail.com and crimewineandchaos.com. We exist there. We exist on Patreon.
Yep.
Yeah. We're findable.
We're super findable.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, sister. That was fucking chaotic.
Chaotic. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Crime, Wine, and Chaos is produced by 8th Direction Records. Artwork by Joshua M. Davis. Music by Paul Abner. If you would like to support the show, you can visit our Patreon page at crimewineandchaos.com/Patreon. Cheers!
What exactly do you do here?